Welcome back, folks. Game 2 this time around. Resist Gaming versus Angry Men. Resist left side of your spectator UI, so we'll be able to look at picks and bans. Still no rushed. The best is back. I do miss the man with the accent, but we'll see how this one goes. Bans should be coming out momentarily. Resist with the first one, taking a look at what they're going to do. They're going to ban out
Banning
ISIS.
out ISIS. Yeah, it's worth banning against Mace to the Face. His Nox was pretty good, though. It could use some work with the positioning. And that is probably the hardest thing about Nox, because you want to be far enough forward to poke, but not too much far forward that you can get caught. That'll always be hard. Circuit banned away by 5 men, and Resist Gaming's jungler, Chaos, is very skilled. He could definitely play that at a high enough level to make it scary.
Yep. I mean, without a doubt, the ISIS ban is definitely warranted against Mace to the Face. Fantastic ISIS player. I don't think Nox really deserves a ban. Like, you want to play Nox against us, fine. She's getting changed so much so because she's just not good enough as is. So I don't think that's worthy of a ban. The ISIS is interesting. It's just a Mace to the Face thing. So Sylvanas and Circuit, some more standard bans coming out from 5 a.m. Thor instantaneously picked up by Resist Gaming.
Thor picked up, Baka hovered on. Switching to Apollo makes a little bit more sense, and they're going to lock in with Apollo and Geb. Not the most 500 men duo lane we've seen, but Shadowq and Paradox are both skilled players. They can play Apollo Geb. Yep. Every competitive player can play Apollo Geb. You better be able to.
Apollo Geb is the we want to win now comp. That is, we can split push and get objectives where we need to. Geb can protect our mistakes when we make them. This is a very, very standard composition. And up 1-0, 500 men look like they have an appointment to get to, because they're not messing around. They ban out Sylvanas and Circuit, top tier picks. They pick Apollo and Geb, top tier lane. Hercules goes again to awesome to the max, but we'll see how 500 men rounds out their first wave of picks.
Yeah, I mean, you think we'll see the old school Apollo Geb versus Ram Athena? Nox picked before the counterban phase. If they wanted it, sure. If they didn't want it, probably wouldn't be picked here.
Yep.
And
I mean, the Nox is interesting. In her current iteration, with all of the damage, Nox is very good. It's just not core to what Nox's thought process was. You know what I mean? She came in as a utility mage with a lot of silences. Yeah. It didn't really work. So while they figured out how to make that happen, they just gave her the Nuwa treatment and made her damage explode. So that's sort of how that went down. Personally, I like that they're taking a second look.
Sure.
And I think that the result is very strong, but correctly strong. In this iteration, though, 500 men are just looking at another burst mage with a little bit of silent stuff going through it, and Mace to the Face can definitely play that very well.
Here's the question. What's the best mid to pick in Nox? That's not Isis or Yanis, because they've been banned.
Honestly?
But do you know?
Vulcan.
But do you know?
No, I don't off the top.
Exactly.
And that's the point you're making.
And Mace does. Mace, because Mace is playing Nox, he's more familiar with it. So Resist Gaming's like, what do we pick into this? I mean, yeah, the Vulcan was fine. Or Vulcan would be fine. Ra did not work and is banned. So I think that's a big part of the advantage that Mace has. Just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Pick goes over to 500 men. Hades hovered on, probably a troll, but it could be played. I mean, Hades is not well liked. He does have a lot of things going for them. It's just not valued.
Yeah, it's an odd skill set. It's sort
he
of
can't
like
lose lane. Like
Hades is the god equivalent of Soul Eater.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just, when do you actually want a Hades on your team? Soul Eater's a good item, but what god can make use of attack speed, health, and lifesteal besides Nemesis? Like, so that's sort of where
even Nemesis I wouldn't really like. Osiris, I guess.
It's split Osiris,
but like
Nemesis
only
item.
an Osiris when you have like 2 other physical auto attackers, right? Like it's such a weird item.
It's very
Hades
specific,
is a weird god.
But Hades is that, like, when do you want a Hades? Chronos hype.
I mean, I think Chronos is in a similar category. He does a lot of things well. He can poke decently. He's high late game auto attack damage, great at cleanup. He's hard to duel. He can kill towers very well, but his laning phase is kind of bad. That mana change gave him more mana, and that doesn't solve the problems that he had. Which is fine. He should have weaknesses.
Yes.
But it's hard to get past those weaknesses. It's not worth it to get past those weaknesses in most cases.
I'll actually disagree with you a little bit there, Krat. I think that Kronos brings a lot to the table. He can be just as much of a mage as other mages can be with the time slow, time rift combo.
Okay.
That does a lot of damage late game, and he can still kill towers. We'll see him in the mid lane unless they do something weird with Herc mid, which is
okay, but here's
honestly, Herc mid's a great pick. You're just going to see it. But Kronos mid is where we're going to see him today. Mid camp secure, check. The ability to kill towers and make worthwhile rotations, check. Is he safe? Yes. Kronos is very difficult to play a la Vulcan, but when played correctly, can provide a fantastic upside. I really like this Kronos pick.
See, I'm going to disagree. I think Hercules mid would be the better option because of mid camp secure. I don't think he has it, and it's specifically not having that ultimate, not having that big threat, right?
Right.
Nox and Scylla comes to the mid camp, and they have the threat of the ultimate. They can be like, yo, I'm going to hit you with my dogs. I'm going to hit you with my, like, evil goo with tar or whatever, right? Captain Planet gets real pissed off when Nox is around. And Kronos is just like, I have time stop and time rift. They're good. And, like, yeah, they're good. And he can do some decent damage and he's hard to kill. But you don't have the I'm a monster to say leave or you're dead. You don't have the whatever Nox's ultimate is called to say leave or you're dead, and that can make contesting these mid camps hard, and it doesn't synergize with Thor.
You're 100% correct. I think that Hercules would be the better pick for the mid lane, even though it's a little bit weird and people don't like putting physical people mid. Who was playing middle lane for Resist Gaming earlier today, Krat?
It was Nintendo 64, and it's not anymore. I saw the same
64,
thing.
And right now it is Kabam. I have no ill will, or I have nothing negative to say about Nintendo 64. I think he did a great job.
He did well.
And he is a player that we spoke about highly. But Kabam in the middle lane is one of the unsung heroes of the Pro-Am scene. This player, Kabam, has played in a number of tournaments and played very, very well. It's not just this caster. DM Brandon has spoke the praises of him before. He streams a decent amount, and you can see the skill level. So I think this is the ace in the pocket, and Kabam is going to... Kabam on this Kronos, I am excited for. I think this is going to be a fantastic match, and if they're going to bring it to a game 3, it'll be on Awesome to the Max's Hercules and Kabam's Kronos.
I mean, here's the thing. Kabam could win. He could win mid lane. He could do great at mid camps. I still don't... I think Nox wins this.
Yep.
I mean, Kabam might do it. I don't know how. I don't know why. He might. I, by default, will give it to Mace of the Face. If he wins, I won't be completely shocked.
Yeah, Mace of the Face, as we said, plays new characters very well, usually very quick to do either the math or just the theory crafting involved to figure out what makes a character tick, or rather, what makes them stop ticking the other character across the yard line. So that's what we're going to be looking at. I will specifically be paying a lot of attention to that middle lane. Kabam on Kronos versus Mace of the Face's Nox. Kabam will be a little bit cold since Nintendo was covering, but we'll see how that works out in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Game 2 of your finals right here on Smite Game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Game 2 of your best of 3 finals. Resist Gaming down 1 against 5 angry men who reside on the right-hand side of your spectator UI. Resist Gaming will have Kabam step in. Apparently Nintendo 64 was the substitute. And Kabam, the starter, will be back playing this mid lane Kronos. So many interesting things to be spoken about here. Kronos was recently buffed to help specifically his mid lane prowess. So what do you expect to see here?
Oh, man, I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect from a Nox-Kronos matchup. They are sort of polarized characters, right? Like, they're both poke-oriented. Kronos pokes you, and Nox pokes you. And Nox is better at poking you because her poke is easier, right? Like, it's a bigger circle, roughly the same timing. But I think they could both do a lot. And, Yeah, I mean, on the other side, 5 Angry Men, Shadowcue, Paradox, Face, Homofey looking for the quick 2-0. We'll see if they can get it, but it's definitely going to be an interesting game. And, you know, the other question is, are they going to invade or not?
I guess that remains to be seen. They're definitely grouped up, so we'll see if they invade.
Yeah, I mean, so Face, Shadowcue, just, can they find the catch, really? They don't really have the best composition for it, but, there's also the special delivery to account for, so, you know, there's the potential to catch someone out. And, it doesn't look like anything's gonna happen here. Game's just gonna start normally. And, yeah, I don't really know what to think. I mean, rare to see 5 Men not going for invades.
Yep, pretty standard stuff, I guess. You know what it is? I think Resist showed them enough of their card deck to really be afraid. We're going to go ahead and take a brief break and then come right back so we can get this game 2 underway very, very soon. Don't worry, we'll be back shortly. All right, folks, sorry about that, but we have returned. We returned in great fashion. Apparently, good invade coming out on the blue side by Resist, and Kabam taking a lot of poke as Face chases him into lane right away, starting with the action. So, Kabam very, very low. Gonna have to use Accelerate to really get that HP back.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work out too well for him. Nox can out-clear and out-poke. Kabam is now just tagging with time stop, and that seems like the best he can do. Over in the solo duo lane, we're seeing best on Scylla, which is one of his trademark gods, and oh, Awesome Max left alone. It's hard to aggress onto a Hercules, and Homofey is Mercury might have enough damage for it, but no, it's actually Awesome Max who finds the damage. Special delivery. Great hammer from Chaos returning to lane as Pantheon falls on the left-hand side.
I like that across-the-map trade. You know, there really wasn't any... There's no strategy in anything that sometimes we see that delayed trade by about 10 seconds where the left lane will go extra hard because they just earned that loss in the right-hand lane. But this was just, well, 2 identical engagements going on. So good play coming out from both teams. Resist gets the left-hand side while 5 Angry Men gets the right, or rather the opposite. But 1 kill goes the way of each team. Chaos taking some poke in the mid lane for trying to be aggressive.
Oh, more than just that. Actually, the Shroud of Darkness, or Siphon Darkness, not connecting off that special delivery, unfortunately. Awesome, Max will find a kill on the right-hand side. No, oh, yeah, no boulder needed, hitting level 5 off of the kill, and that's gonna set best on the back foot, but still invading left. So duo lane for 5 Angry Men is winning, and it's about to win even harder as Huda is in a lot of trouble.
Huda taking a lot of poke. That hit from Mace to the face, very, very well placed. You can tell that he knows his character, that he's getting to know this character very, very well. Like, that's what we were talking about earlier about Mace and new characters, just able to position underneath the tree. 80% of that ability was impossible to hit, but the 20% on a player. That's what got the kill.
Fair enough, yeah. Though it would be shocking if the majority of that ability was on a single player. That would be a big model. Best is going to get pulled and pushed. No driving strike used just yet, and actually will drop a crush. Man, Awesome and Max does have control of this lane, and when Hercules gets ahead, he can be so hard to deal with. Thor dropping from the sky. Anvil of Dawn has been used, and that's really good news for Mace. He is safe for 90 seconds. Well, relatively safe.
Homofey ults onto Kabam, and that is a lot of coming out from Mace, forcing the immediate Chronos ultimate out in Kabam. Shadowcue gonna roll right past Chaos. They want to go ahead back. Not gonna allow that is Chaos. A little bit of damage on the Shadowcue, but with that shield, just nothing to be had.
Awesome Max and Solon playing fairly well, and once again just forcing Best out, who's not going to be able to clear for another 4 levels. So this is Hercules' chance to get ahead and stay aggressive. He's probably going to leave that Emerald Talisman right where it is and go into those penetration boots. As in the middle lane, covering for Face is Homofey and Shadowcue, and doing a fairly decent job at not losing any gold to the tower. So, you know, 5 Ring Men, now they're just playing greedy. Their early game, in terms of composition, is flat out worse than their opponents. and they're still even.
Staying even is all they want to do. I mean, you really can't look for a Can you look to out early game them? I don't really think all you really can ask for is.
It would be straight up outplaying. Obviously, you're always gonna look for it, right?
Right.
But it's not something to hope for. It's just straight up outplay and better shot calling, just like this blue buff invade on timing. Fam's gonna go in. Special Lovely throws Kudat into the buff, into the Cataclysm. And Shadow Q will be able to pick up the buff for his team, but Best needs bailing out, sitting at 0-2 up against a Hercules who has not even bought yet? Nah. He bought once, but it was a while ago. He didn't spend that much gold, so Austin the Max is really scary.
Here. They're sort of like...
Your left tower is under attack.
Well, I don't love it, but I like it. And I'll expand on that statement. Resist Gaming has systematically been invaded, not just this game, but last game as well. And I don't know if they watched some of the matches that Five Finger Men have played, but this is what they do. They 4-man invade on the dual lane of things because their dual lane is there. Both speed and blue go down every time with 4 members deep. Resist Gaming notes that, and while they haven't really done anything to triage that, you don't see them fixing that with bigger rotations. They're just abusing solo lane. Every single time rotate 4 deep to get that kill, to get the invade, Hercules just goes off. Austin the Max just kills the Best and makes them pay for it. So that's keeping it even. They're down 500 gold and experience in the jungle, but that's the best he can do. No pun intended.
Oh, and pulled out of the tower yet again is the Best. Gonna find his way back into the tower. On the left-hand side, though, Thor a little bit caught out. Sonic Boom coming through. Chaos is dead to... He's not even dead to Reds. He's just dead. He's just regular dead.
Lefts will go the way of Fine, so he's dead to lefts.
No, don't left! Speed invade coming through. Best, knowing how this game is played out, Best is probably going to die soon, but this speed invade will go to Five Finger Men, and at this point, they are straight up sacking their solo lane. They do not care if Best feeds, because it cannot give Resist Gaming as much of an advantage as Fireman can take in left and middle. Or at least, that's their stance on it. It might give Awesome Max enough of an advantage, but we'll see.
I mean, Awesome the Max, it is the main problem with Hercules, unfortunately. He doesn't do enough outside of displacement. So if you get him farmed, he'll be impossible to kill, but Five Finger Men doesn't have to kill him.
And honestly, with a Scylla and a Mercury, no one is impossible to kill. Mercury will kill you. I'm a Monster will connect there. Best might die. Thor is up. Best really might die, but he heard it coming, and now it's all about the hammer. Will it connect? Not quite. Nice teleport from Chaos will buy some time, but now he can't use any abilities, and Homefade just coming in with the Mage Look will find the kill. Kabam not connecting with the time stop, and he's just gonna rewind away. That is the shame rewind. Missed everything, time to go.
Yep. Missed everything, gotta run. No rhyme there like the Thanatos one. But sometimes you just gotta push the button. I like the Best staying there for the presence, just in case they caught Kabam. He could stay safe and throw a crush over the wall. I like that decision coming out from the Best. He's gonna return to base, and then return in. And that should even things up a little bit. 4,700 gold on the Hercules. 44,000 gold onto the Scylla, so still trailing by a large amount, 800, 700. But as we said, Scylla doesn't really care because she's a hard on-off switch, just like Kali and Shin side. She's off until level 8, and then she's on.
Ish,
exactly.
At least in terms of clear.
Lane clear.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so at this point, Best won't lose that much in his lane, certainly not as much as his team is making up on the other side of the map, and he can just sit under tower and farm up his Book of Thoth and his Pen Boots, and eventually at the 20-minute mark, maybe the 25-minute mark, he's gonna kill people. Eventually, and the question is, can Hercules have a bigger impact than the eventual Scylla with an extra 10 minutes of playtime? Well, maybe. But it's going to be hard. Awesome the Max is going to have to hit every Earthbreaker.
Which, honestly, we've seen a decent amount.
Yeah.
Awesome the Max has proven that he can play this Hercules very, very, very well. And he's been a reason to focus on the solo lane for the matches of this Risk Gaming team.
Well, here's the thing also, is that you, as Hercules, have to counterbuild the entire enemy team sitting in solo lane. So you have to know what's going on, know who's getting fed, know who's powerful, counterbuild against that while still having a decent build for your laning phase. And that's incredibly difficult to navigate, just from a numbers standpoint.
Your left tower is under attack.
That's
Left-hand
gonna
side.
miss over there, right-hand side. So also the Max is gonna have some problems. Left-hand side, also a fight, two separate fights. Boulder's gonna go over the best set, so that's not gonna be the kill, and that's gonna go the other way because of that.
Oh,
the
wow.
best takes out also to the Max in a great 1v1, and the fight over by Gold Fury was missed. That resulted in 2 deaths on Resist. Paradox gets one, Mace in the face gets one as
Deicide.
well. That's a Deicide going the way of 5 angry men, and they will take it to the bank as they take Gold Fury.
And Gold Fury will fall here off of that Deicide. Resist Gaming, Austin the Max could not afford to lose that 1v1. Because the moment he loses his advantage in lane, and he just did, Best is now higher level with as much gold on a more impactful late game character, because let's be honest, there are not many characters that are impactful as solo late game. You now don't have an advantage on Resist Gaming. Not a concrete one. There are like intangible advantages, like, well, we could Thor ult into
No, you're trailing by 6,000.
something, but yeah, you're just down. And they don't have great synergy either. Like, what do you follow up your Thor ult with? Boulder? But he's in solo lane. What does Kronos do? What does Kronos do?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the core problems that we have that is going on with this Resist Gaming lineup right here. Resist Gaming has shown that good players, great players even. Game 1 went a lot better than it is going game 2 this round, and Resist Gaming, we saw them earlier, and they definitely outplayed a lot of their other opponents. Problem is their draft crit. Picking these gods, they're just not much. Synergy is a dirty word these days. It's overused, but there's no synergy here for the team.
There's no combos. There's no wombo to this team. There's... I mean, like Rom, for example. His ultimate does a tremendous amount of damage. If you are able to deal true damage, which you can with my build, yo, what's up? You can deal 1,800 damage, right? But there's no one to set up for that in this game. Now, Thor going up in the air. Mace to the face does have that Aegis activated and will get stunned on the downside, but Apollo's going to dive in, provide the disruption. Chaos is decapitated by the So Beautiful by that dagger throw. Hudak goes down as well. 13-2-3. 5,000 gold, 11,000 experience. 5 ring men in complete control. It's just Austin and Max that they have to deal with, who did basically win a 1v2, or at least force his opponents back, but he still is going to lose the red buff on the side of the map because there's just so much pressure from 5 ring men. Everywhere.
Perfect play by the Paradox. Perfect play by the Paradox. Just absolute perfect decision making, great timing, great aim, obviously, and a fantastic decision to stay in mid.
Yeah.
Once you see Pantheon, your fellow hunter, in lane in mid, then you know you made the right decision. But he chose to stay in mid because he knew he could get that tower down. Fantastic play coming out from the hunter for 5 angry men, and the Paradox definitely looking very good on his new team.
Now, there was a 4-man gank on the solo lane, and Austin and Max did not even come close to getting killed. But here's the thing: if you can't kill Mythic Butcher, go to Brackenspore. You don't have to fight the raid boss. You can just ignore the Hercules, because everybody else is just so much easier to kill. Chaos is gonna show up, and Homofe eventually, when it matters, when you hit the ultra late game, Mercury can kill a Hercules. Eventually. With the lockdown. He's going meditation though. Call you boy. The savior, the hope of Resist Gaming right now is Meditation Hercules.
Up in the air is Thor, trying to provide some actual tangible saviortude. Can't find, he does get the sun. Is it enough to kill Homofe? Not enough. Again, beautiful knockup coming out from Paradox. Playing all cylinders on deck. Mace to the face takes out also to the Max. That was the #1 threat according to Kret. And it looks like that's going to be accurate. 4 members of 5
Your
Angry
right
Men
tower
deep
is
looking
under
for
attack.
more. Can't find anything. Good ward by Mason the Face in between the 2 towers. See who's going to provide some triage. This tower will inevitably go down to the red team. Will they push for a second? Looks like it.
Not really sure how Herc died so fast, but he certainly did. Just great CC chaining there and finding the kill. On the left-hand side, it's Homofei up against Pantheon, a level down on the Mercury, but does have crits. His special delivery has been used. No Sonic Boom to get out of here. It's all about the outplay, but 3 snipes. Oh, could not dodge the second one. And that's the power of good ROM play. In juking the first, your opponent sets up the second. Should be a hit every time.
Normalcy. Everybody looking for back harpies. There's really nothing that Resist Gaming can farm without being in a precarious situation. 6,000 gold, their junior. So 5 Angry Men, 11,000 experience as well in the hole is Resist Gaming. They need to really come back. We've talked a lot about their solo laner also to the max, and we've mentioned, or at least I have mentioned a lot, Kabam, their mid laner, have not been able to see much of anything. As a yawn caught out in the exact place he does not want to be. That's a quick and easy kill for the members of 5 Angry Men, but Kabam not really making his presence known. And I have wondered, we've seen this before, and I've called it in question. Yes, you're the starter. The entire tournament has gone on. You are cold, so to speak. I mean, as we see Hudat go down by the Gold Fury, and this will inevitably be a Gold Fury. As a player, you've pretended to be a professional fighter before.
Yeah.
How much is that real? To come in without a warm-up game, like, how much is that real?
I think it depends on the god you're playing.
Okay.
If it's something you're super comfortable on, you should be able to whip it out, right? You should be able to play it, no problem. Like, best should always be able to play Scylla. Like, you could wake him up at 4 in the morning by, like, clapping really loud or with, like, an air siren, right? And then put him on a computer and be like, yo, play Scylla. He could play Scylla. That's what he should be able to do. It's his god. That's what he is. That's what he does. He should know it like the back of his hand. It might not be as alert as usual, but
your middle tower is under attack.
It's different per person, mostly, right? Like, some people do need to warm up. Some people don't. Maybe he's just having a bad day. Maybe it's not coming cold. But I think the question of why is a player not playing as well as they usually do is just an impossibly deep question to answer. There's so many things. So
of course. I mean, there's so many different variables. It'd be that, you know, homie left his window open last night and now has a little bit of a cold. Like, it could be a lot of different things.
Honestly,
I was just inquiring if that like warm-up period was real.
I think it's more real for the team than the player themselves. Austin Max on the right-hand side will die to the 4-man gank. But think about it, you're playing with a mid laner with calls and playstyle and god pool, and changing that at the end of the tournament is definitely wonky. Kabam a little bit far forward, does have the rewind if he needs it, and he will. Not gonna come off long enough. Scylla very good at bursting people down, especially Kronos is. Paradox will find the solo kill on the right hand side. The only thing that I am questioning this game, why is Homofei so low level and underfarmed?
Homofei has not been doing a great job this time around, honestly. Homofei has been present for all of the kills, but he's not been the cornerstone of this team. Apollo's coming back around, looking for the backside because he knows there's 2 members of Resist Gaming here. Thor dumps down, getting assisted by the Athena. Oh, not going to be able to get the Fire Giant. It's not reset either. Just a little too trigger happy. Homofei gonna die to chaos. Can he get out? Will remain to be seen.
He can.
Great wall by Mason. The face is going to hit him. And that'll be the kill. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 members alive for 5 Angry Men. Well, only 3 remain for the Resist Gaming in blue.
Now, what a long-range ability is that Siphon Darkness from Nox. It's a 15-foot radius and I think 65-foot range, which puts it up to 80 or something like that. It's huge. So just able to get those kills that seem way too far away. 22-6 with the Fire Giant at the 19-minute mark. Paradox's recall interrupted by a boulder, and at this point, Austin the Max is going to die to the Apollo. And that's not even with Shin size. Apollo is just huge. And Hercules has no physical defense.
Yeah, Apollo is very, very, very big. Also to the max, caught out in a bad spot. Paradox killed him with the single so beautiful, and here comes Kabam. No ultimate available, and Shadow King totally willing to dive. Good knock up onto him, but no backup.
He got beats, so that's dope. I mean, they're free in the middle lane. Special delivery onto Chaos, not gonna connect with the Nightfall Raven though. And Chaos, oh, he channels his ultimate. He's dead. Rip. Now middle tower likely gonna go down here. Will go down as Mercury, even when he's behind, will kill towers faster than you can say Mercury will kill towers.
Okay,
I know you won't.
Second too long. There you go. He gets the tower right after Kret says
faster than 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. And don't tell me you know how long that is. You don't.
I actually do. It's 1.6 seconds.
Can you prove that? I need a Wikipedia entry. Alright, yeah, true.
A lot of damage coming out on the right-hand side. Phoenix down to about halfway. Resist Gaming really needs to make this defense worthwhile. Big crits on also the max puts him at about half HP. Take that unicorn build. Not a good ultimate coming out from the best. He's gonna hit some minions. Down comes Thor into the backline, gets a stun, gets the kill on the Homofey. 17 assists onto that Mercury, doesn't matter quite much. 4 in red, looking at 2 in blue. Chaos will get away, but Pantheon rolls the wrong direction, gets Paradox. But will he pay with his life? It does not look so. So all in all, rolls the right way, I suppose. But this Phoenix will go down to the hands of 2 mages and the support.
Phoenix is down, though it is the weak side Phoenix, meaning it doesn't apply as much map pressure as it could. Left lane, dual lane, there's 2 towers to get down, and Paradox, despite doing very well this game, 7-2 and 11 very far ahead, now having a Rage online, so sitting very healthy in the crit department, will actually be losing his lane in terms of towers, and that's thanks to a split push from Chronos Rom. Because if you want to split push a tower, you pick Chronos Rom. They are very good at killing those structures.
I mean, without a doubt, Rom is just a hunter, so that's what literally the definition of his role is, to kill towers. And Kronos kills towers. Not only is he an in-hand character, but he double dips as far as like magical contribution, the power to his basic attacks via just the fact that he's got basic attacks, and the additional because he's a mage, and with his passive. So he just tears down these structures. It's why you see Shard a lot of the time on Kronos, though. He's building into a demo grip. Well, it's only his 3rd item. Kronos is very, very far behind. Kabam having a very rough game, sitting 0-3-1. Only level 15 compared to his enemy mid laner. 14-0-7. We haven't looked at Mace in the face in a while.
Yeah, he's just kind of been killing people. You think Nox wins this matchup? Because I think Nox wins this matchup.
I mean, I really...
It's hard to tell.
I don't like to do any sort of thought experiments or theory crafting with Nox, because she's in Band-Aid form right now, and we'll expand on that if need be. But ultimates coming out from Resist Gaming are going to miss in general. Paradox with another fantastic knockup, and Homofey doesn't need the damage to get the CC with Sonic Boom. 3 people go spinning and 1 person goes dead. Paradox is going to claim the double kill. That'll be the F6. And folks, 5 Angry Men will take home $500. They are the winner of the final weekly.
22 minutes and 32 seconds. 5 Angry Men winning 30-8. Mace the Face on form. Could he be the best mid in the world? Definitely.
The best play solo.
Jokes aside, Mace the Face is a very polarizing player. He, at times, looks amazing, at times has a lot of trouble, and I find him fascinating to watch. I love watching Mace because you never know what you're going to get, and it's always spectacular. When he is on point, though, because of his interesting god pool and because of his love for picking things that aren't good yet, but will be in 2 weeks, he's just so cool to watch. So, hope to see more of him and more of 5 Angry Men.
That's really what I like to eat, Kret. I love to see the newer gods being played by Mace the Face. As we said, this particular iteration of Nox is not her final form, to use a cliche. It's sort of a Band-Aid fix, but 15-0-9, I don't care what state you're in. That is a dominant performance, and that's sort of what we expect to see out of Mace of the Face. I'm going to grab the bull by the horns. A lot of times, Mace of the Face gets a lot of bad press, so to speak. By
he can only play Isis.
That's just not true, folks. It really isn't, and I'm gonna
Well,
be the one to tell you otherwise. So
I mean, the thing is, every so often players sort of get into this thing where they're only playing one god, right? Like,
yeah,
or one type of god, or two gods, and it's happened to and it sure used to be that guy who plays Hades. Like, that's not a joke. That was literally a thing. He played Hades. He wasn't even a support player. He just did it. It was weird. And like, Lassus used to only play Hercules. Pon used to only play Thor or only play Thanatos. It happens to everyone, all these pro players, and it's not just a generalization. It's also like, yeah, they pick this a lot. They kind of are spending a lot of their time playing this character. If you ban it, it is a big blow. Mace the Face, though, maybe 2 weeks ago he only played Isis, but he's got a Nox. And the question is, will he continue to have one when she changes?
Yeah, I think it'll be very interesting. I think the new iteration of Nox will wind up being in the solo lane a little bit more, very control based rather than the burst. But you know, we've spoken a lot about Mace and Shadow, and the Paradox has stepped it up immensely.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, we saw the Paradox at the regional championship land not do too well with the clowns.
Nope.
And the Paradox
had trouble.
The Paradox in the past has been a very, again, like Mace, a polarizing character. Inconsistent, I think, is the less polite term to use, and that's the one I'm going to go with. I think that the time Shadow Q, the best, and Mace of the Face, their individual, how they conduct themselves, it remains to be seen. But just the veteran leadership, being around players that have been in the competitive scene for so long, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, I'm not saying one or the other. Just that veteran leadership combined with the past of going to the LAN, I think the Paradox has really turned over a new leaf, and we're seeing a different Hunter than we saw go into that LAN. And if this 5 Angry Men staff is the way it's going to be with the Paradox and Shadow Q in a lane, I think this is a scary lane, and SPL teams have to take note. I think this will be something scary.
This is a very strong roster. This is a very strong roster in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah. I'm very excited to see a lot more of this. Oh no, very excited to see a lot of the tournament as well. Any closing statements that you had looking at today's final weekly, Cret?
I guess it's just, I love the way 5 Angry Men plays. They've got a clear defining team focus. They've got interesting picks, but they're not quite at the chunk level of I'm not really sure what's happening here. Right? And that's not a knock at the chunks. I think the chunks are awesome, and what they do well, but 5 Angry Men like play stuff that you're like, yeah, I know why they're playing it. It's just people don't do that. People don't play Scylla solo, but you farm up and kill people, and people don't play Nox mid, but she's got a lot of poke and wins lane. And it's a lot more clear what they're doing with it. They're so fun to watch, and I think a lot gets taken away from some of these players just sort of as an attitude thing and in ranked, and you know,
agreed.
I mean, I want to see them at a LAN. I think it'll change a lot of the players and their mentalities. I think that happened to Paradox, and Homofay specifically could be huge. So I want to see what he can do.
Yeah, I think a lot rides on 5 Angry Men's ability to win and stay winning. I think if they get into a negative mindset, that some of the hoopla surrounding their attitudes could come into play. But I am excited to be proven wrong, and I want to see this 5 Angry Men team come together, because as you said, watching them during the Challenger Cup, they lost a lot because I don't think they had a thesis. They didn't really have a mentality underneath their team the way a lot of successful teams do. And this iteration of 5 Angry Men has a thesis. It is make the enemy team uncomfortable by Mace to the Face, and the Paradox will do big things with Shadow Q. This is sort of a similar thesis that Dignitas had. Zapman will do big things with Shadow Q. It's a very similar playstyle from the Paradox into Zapman, so Shadow Q feels a little bit at home. There's a lot of synergy as far as the players are concerned with that trilogy of the best, Shadow Q and Mace to the Face. A lot of long-term friendships. I think this is a very interesting team to take a look at, and they earn the victory right here. We've got a couple more weeks until World Championships, and then after that, these teams start on Season 2 very, very quickly after that, both Challenger Cup and SPL. So I kid you not, these teams are already thinking about Season 2, and what we saw today was just a hint of what we could see in the Challenger Cup and the coming weeks. So be excited that you got to see this much, and just be more excited for what's to come, Worlds and beyond. Tomorrow will be the European broadcast, so if you liked what you saw here, but you want a little bit more Hindu Man in your life, come through tomorrow and check that out, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will make that 2 p.m. over in the UK, 6 p.m. for Central European Time. Join us, Hi-Rez, production, and everybody else here, as well as the moderators in chat. Join us and thank them for today. We'll see you tomorrow. If not, we'll see you at Worlds. Take care, guys, and smite on.